Ladies and gentlemen, here at CCBC Essex, we embody the spirit of sportsmanship because it's an important component of being a student athlete. We ask that you please refrain from the use of profanity and let all spectators remain positive and cheering for their favorite team.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the castle here at CCBC Essex. Aaron Thomas in the broadcast booth, once again bringing you all the action on YouTube, your home for all of the Knights' home games all season long, whether it's the turf or the hardwood. The action is always live on YouTube from the castle. And it is a double header of soccer action once again here as the women's team taking on Richard Bland, the Statesman. Two teams that have yet to taste a loss this season. The Statesmen do have a tie to their name. The Knights, on the other hand, 4-0 to start the season. Richard Bland 1-0-1. The Knights 4-0, and despite that 4-0, the Knights somehow dropped one spot in the nationally ranked polls that just came out. First polls of the official season. They started the season preseason ranking at number 18, and even with a 4-0 start to the season, they dropped to 19 in the rankings. An opportunity to get some frustration out after that, I'm sure, here today. Goals per game numbers, well, they tell two very different stories as we start this. The Knights come into this one 3.5 goals per game is their average. The Statesmen, on the other hand, well, only 1.5 goals per game. Statesman in the green jersey is going to look to keep this a low-scoring affair or maybe find some extra goals in the back pocket, as they have got a battle with a high-scoring offense led mainly in the goal scoring by Tatiana Cooper, who has 7 goals so far this season through 4 games. Leading the way with the Apples is Silenzia, 4 assists. And Cooper doing a little bit of everything, 2 assists to go along with those 7 goals. Awaiting the first whistle. And here it is. Action underway. Game 1 of a doubleheader. The Knights men's team will finish off the week of action here at the Castle with a game against Mercer. That one is scheduled for 2 o'clock. Statesman did have possession to start, but the Knights have it now in their offensive zone. Looking for a through ball. Cooper's there, offsides by just a hair. Quickly looking for that through ball. The long pass up the field. 14 goals in total for this Knights team through 4 games. And I'd say at least half of them, maybe even more, have come on plays like we saw just a moment ago. Forward finds a soft spot in the defense. They're able to put a pass on, make a nice little run towards the goal. I'm sure they're looking for that once again as they move the ball through the midfield and into the offensive zone. That long pass hugging the line, and we find out that it was last touched by a green jersey. Knights with another throw in just a little further up the line. They're moving it deep into their offensive zone here. Defense is all set up, though. Attempting to keep the ball in front of them. There's a nice pass, one more onto the far sideline, looking for the cross now. And a good defensive effort. Tackle at the last second. We will see a corner, so not out of the danger zone just yet, but a solid step up from Presley. Shania Presley, defenseman from Lorton, Virginia. Practically the last line of defense there. If that cross finds its target, who knows? What could have been, what might still be, as it's off one player, and now a second. And it was hot potato with it for a second. Statesman got the clear initially, looking for another here. Good heads-up offense from the Knights. Something developing there for sure. Moved it all the way back to the line, but then started to take a couple of big steps forward. Saw the give and go developing on that near sideline. Again, what could have been, what might still be, as the missed touch from the Statesman gives possession again to the Knights. And the Statesman defense rallying to the ball first, clearing it over the end line. Giving a throw into the Knights deep in their offensive zone, but they do get a chance to regroup defensively. Knights looking for the centering pass there. A lot of green space. Green jerseys, first ones to it though. Get the clear all the way onto the other side of the field, but the Knights, once it got there, they're the first ones there. Statesmen are struggling, holding on to possession. The Knights not having that problem. And offsides by just a hair. Another solid pass leading to a potential goal-scoring area. Main referee let continuation play, but the sideline ref did have the flag up on that far sideline. And the continuation ends up working the Knights. They're quickly back on the merry-go-round, looking to turn the corner on the far sideline. Good control initially. The defense right there on the hip. Still got a solid pass off. Keeping the offensive hopes alive here on this possession. It is tough to be everywhere all at once, and that is what you kind of have to be when you are going up against a team that's willing to be unselfish and make the pass. And this Knights team has shown that more than a few times this season. That's kind of been their MO. Passing up good shots for better shots. Tic-tac-toeing the ball through the neutral zone and into the offensive zone. That and really solid ball pressure applied by the forwards and midfielders as we see a run towards the goal here. Cooper, shot, goal into the bottom corner. Nice move there. Once again, tic-tac-toeing that ball into a really good goal-scoring area. 3 different white jerseys having a hand on that. Cooper with the finishing job, putting the Knights up 1 for the first time today. Goal number 8 on the season. For Tatiana Cooper, freshman midfielder out of Towson, Maryland, by way of Loch Raven High School. The first goal of the game always changes things. Certainly changes things for the team who scored it. They're in the driver's seat. They've set the pace. But now, do we see the Minutemen up their intensity just a little bit? Not wanting to get in a situation where they're down by a couple goals early. The Knights firmly in the driver's seat here in this one, not just with that goal being scored, but they are dominating time of possession here through almost the first 10 minutes, as we are just about to hit the 38-minute mark of half number one. Hasn't been much of a feeling out process. It's been just a couple of punches thrown by the Knights. The team in white jerseys trying to keep the Minutemen on their heels, looking for more offense. Oh my, passing display continues. Now they need the cross. Good, strong fight for the ball on both sides. Saw some initial contact, was sent off the ball, but got right back on it. Boys and girls at home, that's why you lift those extra weights. That's why you do those extra sprints in practice. Oh my. Tough one. Played it with great control, though. And the skill on display in more than a few ways from the Knights in the early portion of this game. Minutemen trying to show off some skill. Pass up the near sideline. And the ball was out of bounds by just a hair. Oh, nice move. Around one. Some green space. Oh, way to play it towards space with the one touch. And it's going to be a corner, closing the door on that offensive run for just a moment. Tegan Jackson, sophomore defender from Chesapeake, Virginia, with the solid move there for the Statesmen. And the style points all over the field on that run towards the goal from the Knights. And up and over the crossbar. There's not a lot of room in between that field goal post and the soccer goal, but they managed to find it in that one. A good quality strike, though. Or at least portion of a good quality strike. You center that one, and that's kind of just what you're looking for. You got some mustard on the dog, but not too much. Get somebody to get under it. Bouncing ball situation. That's what both teams are looking for. Of course, got two teams looking for that bouncing ball situation for two very different reasons. The Knights trying to create more distance. Trying to be the buzzsaw here today, as they have been already a few times this season. The Minutemen trying to find that bouncing ball because they want to get this game back to even. The longer they let the Knights stay in the driver's seat, with the goal-scoring numbers coming into this one being what they were, you got to think that favors the Knights. Oh, nice move. Caught off the space. As you saw the cross attempt coming. Never was able to get there, though. Again, the defense for the Statesmen, or the Minutemen, excuse me. Oh, it was right the first time. Defense for the Statesmen, stepping up the last possible second here. Third or fourth time they've been able to shut the door on what looked like a really solid goal-scoring opportunity. Not only did they shut the door right before the Knights blew it off the hinges. With this time of possession being dominated by the Knights like it has been over the last 15 minutes or so. You got to think that the Minutemen are either due for a run or due for a tough half. As solid as the defensive effort has been for Richard Bland, there's only so long that you can stay on your heels, especially when the Knights aren't giving up any counter-strike opportunities. There's been plenty of times that Richard Bland stepped up and made the tackle, but they've just haven't had any room or space to go defense to offense with any kind of urgency or control. I mean, most of their possessions have died at the midfield area. Looking like a slight drizzle starting to come out onto the field. Feels like some wind as well picking up out there on the turf. As we are almost officially 15 minutes into this first half. The action on the goal has slowed down just a little bit after the goal for the Knights, but then again, they only have 2 shots on goal. So really most of their runs towards the goal have gotten shut down just before getting to final destination. Pass up that far sideline, a lot of space over there. A nice deflection as the rain seems to pick up here for sure. Not heavy, but consistent as the umbrellas start to come out from our faithful fans here at the Castle. The referee says, sorry, it's going the other way. Knights play for control. And as the rain continues, slick ball will certainly come into play for both these two teams, which will help that bouncing ball scenario we talked about earlier. Becomes oh so important as a goalie to make sure you got control of the ball. Speaking of control, the Knights with control there on a solid tackle. Lindsay Lopez stepping up, saying it ends there. Ball stays on this side of the field, though, here for the Statesmen. Collision. 50-50 ball goes the Knights' way. Oh, nice move to play it towards space. Directing the traffic with the through ball. One more pass, and it's picked off. Can they get the clear? They can. Not out of the danger zone just yet. Knights getting back on the merry-go-round. And they move it back to the goalie. Has to use the legs. Again, the forwards and midfielders. The smothering ball pressure. Right there on the hip side every time they're trying to get that ball up and out of their defensive zone. Knights looking for offense again. Cross off the head of a Statesman. And again, the Knights able to keep it in the offensive zone. The rain was short-lived as it is slowed down once again. Volley is wide of the net. And it looked initially coming off the leg like maybe. That could just be our vantage point. Those volleys and one-time shots, some of the toughest ones to get accurately on goal. But when you can get them down, so much power. Tough shots for the goalie to make a save on. Knights with the through ball. No offsides flag this time. One-on-one. And just wide of the net. Oh, my. Good job by the goalie. That was the only angle, was that far post, unless she wanted to kind of maybe chip it up and over, but then you're playing with the goalie's athleticism. Tried to go far post. Just a bit outside. Goalie took away the angle. What do they have this time? It's another through ball, same situation. This time off the line with maybe a second to spare. Double zeros, Emily Orn, freshman from Chester, Virginia, by way of Thomas Dale High School. A lot of effort on display over the last two plays. Statesman, 25 minutes left in this first half. Can they hold on and keep this game right where it is? Or will they get one chance at offense here in half number one? I certainly wouldn't say their offense is showing signs of coming alive, but it's certainly starting to look better than it was in the first 20 minutes. Spending a little bit more time on this side of the field now, as it'll stay on this side of the field, and it'll stay on this side of the field in the deepest part it's been. The Statesman speaking it into existence. Still looking for their first shot on goal. It's a race for it on the far sideline. Knights win it initially. And the Statesmen keep it on this side a little longer. How much longer? Knights again piecing these passes up into the offensive zone. Could not get it into the box with control, though. And ends up being a missed opportunity and a goal kick for the Statesmen. Deep dive on the numbers here. Of course, the numbers that matter is 1-0. That's the numbers on the big board. The Knights, oh, nice move One more pass. Maybe a couple more. Good recovery defensively. Oh, the triangle on display. So tough to defend against good skill. That is what the Knights have on display with this passing. Oh, the skill on display from the goalie with the fingertip save. And the great display of sportsmanship afterwards. Real, recognize real. Not sure if the kids still say that, but my goodness. What a play. What a moment. Still a moment here building. As it's a corner, far sideline. Much better strike than the last one we saw. And we'll see a third potentially. No, we won't. It touched a white jersey last. What a moment we just saw between these two teams. Beautiful display of passing from the Knights. Just quickly and without thought moving that ball around the offensive zone, leading to that solid shot, going for that low corner. A fingertip, maybe two fingertips on it. Amazing save. And this game will stay right where it is. Defensive plays like that can certainly be momentum-building plays. Only time will tell if that'll be the case for the Statesmen. I talked about the numbers game just a moment ago. I started to say the numbers on the big board, they're the only ones that really matter. And that is true, but that 5-0 as well certainly tells a lot of what kind of game it's been. 5 shots on goal for the Knights, 0 shots on goal for this Statesman team. 3 corner kicks for the Knights, 0 corner kicks for the Statesmen. It has been a bagel of an afternoon for this Richard Bland offense. At least that is what the first half has been, but you know that the coaching staff over there is watching this game just like we are, so they've got some adjustments because Lord knows they're smarter than we are up in the broadcast booth. They've got some adjustments they want to see their team make at the halftime break. The flip side of that coin is the Knights coaching staff. They've got some adjustments as well. It'll be a game of adjustments in the second half, particularly if we start this second half with the same score that we have right now. If it is a 1-0 game at the start of the second 45, as much as the Knights will be out in front and have all the reason to have all the confidence in the world, you got to feel like Richard Bland will have some confidence as well in that situation. As we see a race towards the ball come out in the goalie's mitts. Maybe half a second to spare there. Sometimes when you are coming off the line like that, it is kill or be killed, and you've got to just have the confidence to go all out for it. And that's the second time we've seen that from Emily Orn. Solid goalie play. Oh, nice pass up the near sideline. A cross could follow. It does. Bouncing ball. Knights put it in play. And the bouncing ball finds its way safely into the goalie's hands. Little hot potato going back and forth with possession there, going back and forth with where it was going to go. The Knights looking to put it in the back of the net. Statesman looking to clear it out of the danger zone. Same story. Different part of the stage, as this time it's coming from the far sideline. Centering pass. Only green jerseys there. Still knocking on opportunity's door, the Knights, with a throw in deep in their offensive zone. Let's do it again. Almost 15 minutes left to play in the first 45. Knights looking to create some distance. Looking to put an emphatic Knights stamp on this first half. That is what a second goal would be if this first half wasn't already stamped with their name all over it. A second half or a second goal in the first 45 would really change the feeling of this thing. Got under that one. Had the right idea. Space. There was some of that to be had on this near sideline. Looking for that through ball. And they'll look a little further. Look a little harder. Effort gets you mighty far in life, and it almost won that free possession for the Knights. Maya Friedenberg, sophomore out of Perry Hall, Maryland. A sophomore with a slip and slide tumble off the turf and onto that brand new blue track, by the way. Nice clear green jersey right there on the hip. The Statesmen trying to take a page out of the Knights book, really upping their pressure from the forwards and midfielders, trying to keep this ball on this side of the field. And the through ball had a green jersey that it was headed towards. The race was won by Lindsay Lopez. Another strong defensive play by number 5. Freshman out of Baltimore, Maryland, by way of Parkville High School. Lindsay Lopez must really love being a Knight. She went from being a Knight over there at Parkville High School to being a Knight here at CCBC Essex. Warrior tendencies on the field on display. Warrior mentality on display from both teams right there, as that was a good old-fashioned fight for it at the midfield. Effort has been mighty strong from both these two teams. And really, from the word go, well, maybe from the word go for the Knights, there was a little bit of a waking up process for this Richard Bland Statesman's team. But for them to still be in this fight, in the position that they're in, what a recovery job by this Statesman team. It'll be really interesting to see what kind of adjustments they make. It'll be interesting to see if they're given an opportunity to display some offense. Well, this may be that opportunity right here. Free kick about 20 yards into their offensive zone. So you're thinking about a bouncing ball situation here. Get some air under it. Place it in towards the middle. Oh my, it's off the field goal post, and that'll be out of play for a corner as it last touched the goalie's hand. Oh my, got that bouncing ball. Just no one can get under it. Big moment. Just got a little bigger. First corner kick of the day for the Statesmen. Is it a good one? Comes from the near sideline. And it is going to come with 12 minutes left in this first half. Good strike. White jerseys there first and last. Big clear out of the danger zone. Oh, now an opportunity. Defense to offense with some urgency. Streaking player up the near sideline. Pass is caught. And I think the pass was caught because it looked a lot like a shot. Put that one on goal. And a great carry in towards the offensive zone. Tough angle to put one into the back of the net. Maybe a better angle this time around. Near sideline the carry this time. Looking for the cross. Not finding the space. Oh my. What a move. Getting the leg up there. It's one thing to get the leg up there and get a foot on it. It's another thing to have your foot on it and have it play right down to you in perfect position like that. It's a good, solid play. Good, solid one-touch to create an extra possession for the Knights. And as we hit 10 minutes to play in the first half, it looks like the drizzle has picked up once again here at the Castle. Nice move around the defender, creating a little bit extra space to get that clear away. Hot potato with possession here for a second. Knights had the throw in, then the Statesmen immediately get a throw in of their own. Green jerseys have another throw in, this time from their defensive zone. The Statesmen got their first corner kick a couple minutes ago, but still searching for their first official shot on goal since that ball bounced off of the mitt of the goalie and off of the field goal post. That does not count as an official shot. Certainly was a moment for the Statesmen's offense. It certainly was a steady the beating heart moment for the Knights players, coaches, and fans. But altogether, it's just a missed opportunity. Great fight for the ball on the far sideline. Eventually the whistle says too much hand fighting. But everybody's got a right to that ball. Ashlyn Fuentes, sophomore. The white jersey on that side. Defense for the Knights. Stepping up, really doing a tremendous job of not only keeping the ball in front of them, but being contributors on the offensive side as well. A lot of these through balls that we've seen sent in towards goal-scoring areas have come off the foot of a defenseman. The coaching staff for this Knights team really empowers the players to be aggressive offensively and defensively. Illegal throw in. Just over 5 minutes to play here in the first 45. The Knights in a familiar spot for them. Not just in this game, but this season. 4-0 was their record coming into this one. 14 goals scored by them. And a 3.5 goals per game average. Those were the numbers coming into this one. So they are in a familiar spot this season in the driver's seat right now, but in a familiar spot in this game as well. In the driver's seat with possession. They have really dominated time of possession in this game. A big part of that, I think, is the 50-50 combo of the pressure being applied by the forwards and midfielders, and then the really just spectacular passing display that we've seen. Unselfish play from this Knights team has got them up 1 with 50 minutes left to play in this one. We got 5 left in the first 45. We'll take a little break, and then we've got 45 to close it. That I'm sure is going to be exciting. These two teams are going to get some electrolytes, refuel, listen to coach, and come out for another fight in the second half. It's looking like the first half fight is going to be won by the Knights, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to what happens in the second half. Will the Statesmen find what they need to get this game back to even? Or will the Knights create a little bit more distance between them and their opponent? Oh, here's an opportunity to create some distance right here, right now. Defense to offense. Close out defensively there from Grace Pope. Freshman forward from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Coming over from the other sideline to at least slow down that offensive run. Exactly 4 minutes left to play in the first. Pinballing around here, the ball is. Knights finally control it. Switch fields onto the far sideline, looking for the long pass. Oh, nice move. Timing the head ball perfectly. And the offsides flag. Statesmen happy to take their time here. No real moral victories, but getting this game to halftime at 1-0, about as close to a moral victory as you can get for this Richard Bland team. Given the goal scoring numbers that we went over at the start of the game and how this game has gone in terms of time of possession and, of course, name of the game, shots on goal. Statesman still with a 0 in that category. Hot potato with possession here for a second. As we approach 90 seconds to play, seems like a good time to thank all of you at home for joining us on this not so beautiful Saturday afternoon weather-wise, but hey, the action on the field making up for that in a big way. And of course, after today, well, you know what tomorrow is. Everyone's favorite day of the week. Football Sunday is finally back. There's no better way, I'll say it, there's no better way to kick off a weekend of sports action than by joining us here at the Castle for a doubleheader of soccer action. The women starting us here in game number 1 with a potential classic that may come down to the wire, a defensive battle. And then the men in game number 2 will battle against Mercer. And you guys at home get to watch all of it from your comfy couches. Go get that popcorn. 30 seconds left in this first half, and then these two teams are going to take a little break. And we are going to have another 45 just minutes away. Are the Knights going to find one more goal before then? They certainly thought they were right there, bouncing around. But much like we've seen a couple times here in this first half, the goalie for the Statesmen, no hesitation coming off the line to make the save and make sure this game does go to halftime with a 1-0 score. The Knights got a goal early, and they have been in the driver's seat ever since then. What will the final score be when we hit triple zeros in the second half? Stick around with us and find out. Welcome back to the Castle here at CCBC Essex. Action for the second half of game number 1 already underway here. The Knights starting with possession and starting in the driver's seat, but by the smallest of margins. A 1-0 lead for them as we start the second half. Looking for maybe an early 2-0 lead as that bouncing ball finds its way all the way onto the other side of the field. Nice move to create space, little in and out, but just a bit outside with the shot. Nice individual offense on display there. Almost leading to some spectacular. From where the Knights sit, they can live with almost. They've created the distance between themselves and their opponent. It's the Statesmen who have to match the pace. They have to show that they can punch with the Knights. They have yet to do that. Rain has stopped here at the Castle, but the wind has picked up just a little bit. It's a much breezier and slightly chilly Saturday afternoon. It feels like football weather out there for sure. Starting things on the pitch for this sports weekend. Doubleheader of soccer action live here at the Castle. Game number 1 underway right here in front of us. Game number 2, the Knights men's team taking on Mercer. And then, of course, our good friends at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square. Chicken sandwiches on deck all throughout both games for our friends that are still filing into the Castle on this Saturday afternoon. Great action on the turf. Chicky sandwiches in the stands. Got to come check a game out here at the Castle before the season's over. Clean catch of the cannonball, that one, as the cannonball came rolling into the mitts of the goalie for the Knights. November Smoot, freshman goalie from Port Charlotte, Florida, getting the start for the Knights. First start of the year. Had a little bit of a heartbreaker moment in the first half when the ball bounced over her head and off of the mitts and almost into the goal. Disaster was avoided, and outside of that, it has been a clean day for the freshman, getting the first career start and goal. Ball played to the far sideline. Pass just behind its target that time for the Knights. Right idea is trying to switch fields, take advantage of some of that green space on this near sideline. We have definitely seen a strategy change, at least in the first 5 minutes, for this Statesman team. A willingness to make the small pass, try and play for possession. Does that eventually lead to a run towards the goal? Only time will tell. It was pretty clear that was probably going to be the halftime adjustment for them. Try and find a way, any way they can, to cut into that time of possession that the Knights were dominating so much in that first 45. Oh, what a move on the far sideline. Around one. Here's the pass. and it will not find its target. Good step up defensively, and that is not the first time we've seen that from Shania Presley. Number 7 jersey been right there in the middle of the action more than a few times for the Statesmen. May need to be in the middle of the action once again. Pinballing around off a few green jerseys. Oh, nice move again on the far sideline. Six minutes into the second half, and do think it's safe to say that things are feeling a little bit different in this second half. It's still clearly early, but the Statesmen punching with the Knights a little bit more frequently, as we see a full-out dive for that one. And maybe smartly pulling the arm back or up as she realized the ball was not on goal, instead of punching it away for a potential rebound or corner kick. Instead, cooler heads prevail, and it's a change of possession and a goal kick now for the Statesmen. Little things like that. Statesmen will have to stack those little victories on top of one another. And that's a tough way to win. As their little victories fell short that time. Change of possession. And once again, the Knights creating another offensive possession for themselves with strong pressure applied by the forwards and midfielders. Good centering pass. 3 white jerseys right there, but the goalie wanted advantage. Coming out and getting the mitts on it. Knights crossing fields onto the near sideline. Trying to place one into the center of the box there. Race to the ball. Lopez wins it and clears it to a teammate on a nice play. The 5 and 6 combo there. Lindsay Lopez to Mia Vetri. And then back to the defensive line, only to then take a big step forward into the offensive zone. Quickly through, in towards the box, and it's into the back of the net. The boomerang that time. It went back and then quickly forward up into the offensive zone for the second goal of the day. And that was a real blink and you missed it moment. Just tic-tac-toeing those passes up into the offensive zone. And again, the skill on display with the passing, leading to a beautiful opportunity for goal scoring. Making the most of it. 2-0 the score now on the big board. Avery Lane, the goal scorer that time. Tatiana Cooper with the apple. So some distance created between the Knights and the Statesmen. How does this change things? How does this change the body language for these two teams? I thought one of the real solid signs for the Statesmen in that first half was they were able to keep that body language strong through all of the ups and downs of that first half. I think that was a big reason why they were able to keep it a one-goal game. Now, granted, it starts to feel like hitting your head up against the wall when all of that is not leading to good quality scoring opportunities for yourself, and that is, well, that has been the name of the game here this afternoon for the Statesmen and their trip to the Castle. Only one shot on goal and only one corner kick. Of course, all of that good for the goose egg that the Knights defense is pitching right now. Knights on their heels there for a moment. As the pressure being applied back on the defensive line, but then quickly, once again, a couple of passes later, and they're into the offensive zone. Let's do it again, they say. And offsides, you knew that one was coming. Too good to be true moment. Couple of steps between the defender and the offensive player that time. First Knights player stepped up, tried to make the tackle, wasn't able to, and now we've got a bouncing ball. Knights win the 50-50. Again, quick defense to offense with some urgency. Cross comes off, and it'll lead to a corner. Green jersey shot out of a cannon that time to kick that ball over the line. Almost 15 minutes into this second half, the Knights have found another goal, and it has really changed the feeling of this one. I mean, all the signs and everything that we had seen pointed to real domination by the Knights, but when the score on the big board reads just 1-0, it's hard to feel like it's a real, true dominating effort. It's only one goal difference, but certainly does feel like the Knights turning into the buzzsaw that we've seen already a few times this season. Behind the net that time on the other corner kick opportunity. Knights passing it around. Going for the long pass that ends up into their offensive zone. It really ends up over by some of the men's players. Those are Mercy men's players getting ready to take their part of the practice field behind center turf. Nice opportunity to remind you fans at home, this is just game one of our doubleheader. The Knights men's team will be taking on Mercer in game number 2. It should be another tremendous matchup. Really good Saturday of soccer here at the Castle with the 2 matchups on paper coming into this one. Of course, here in the women's game, 2 teams that hadn't had a loss yet. Knights 4-0 coming into this one. Statesman 1-0-1. Long shot. Oh my, did that one look perfect until it wasn't. Maybe split the uprights. Or maybe found that little bit of space in between the field goal post and the goal. But a beautiful cannon off the foot and over the net. Under 30 minutes to play in the contest. Desperation, I'm sure, going to rear its head sooner than later for this Minutemen team. Oh, nice step up from the defensive line, creating another possession. Maybe that extra aggressive play is what the Minutemen need. Or excuse me, the Statesmen. Keep going back and forth between that. That extra aggressive play is maybe what the Statesmen need to create a little bouncing ball moment for them in their offensive zone. If they could get one, maybe they change the momentum and the feeling of this game, get the Knights playing on their heels a little bit. Unfamiliar territory. Who knows how they react to that. That's, of course, a lot of what ifs, though. A lot of questions. And all the answers, the only answers we've seen, have been answered by the Knights. Oh, nice move. And then a great tackle to slow it down. My, oh my. Effort on display on both sides. The dangle move and then the shutdown. Ball on the far sideline. Knights win possession. Coaching staff for the Statesmen didn't feel like that was the right call there. They immediately jumped up off the bench, feeling like the ball should have stayed on this side of the field. Real tremendous effort from both teams, particularly defensively. Both of these teams' defensive effort has been really solid, of course, for the Knights. It's been perfect. But 5 corner kicks and 7 shots on goal for the Knights. 20 minutes into the second half, this game could be a lot worse for this Richard Bland team. A solid defensive effort for them and a solid goalie play has really kept this game in a manageable spot. It's kept their comeback hopes alive, though right now they're on slim and none. Over the line and out of bounds. The Knights looking again. Another fight there. And once again, that number 7 jersey for Richard Bland right there in the middle of the action. Oh, number 7. Shawnee Presley. A big part of that defensive effort for Richard Bland that has kept this game manageable. Their comeback hopes may be on life support, but they're alive, and a big part of why they're alive is the defensive play from number 7 in the gang. Knights searching for a potential backbreaker up the far sideline. And what an effort play to make sure it's a throw-in instead of a corner. Turnover by the Knights. We're going the other way. Knights move it back to the defensive line. Oh, nice. Potential give and go starting to take place there. As Fuentes makes a run from the back line. Another run starting for the Knights here. This one quickly coming to an end, at least for a moment, as we now know that it was last touched by a green jersey, so it'll be a corner kick for the Knights. Their 6th of the day. Fuentes, good strike. Everyone's got a chance at it. Goalie gets the hands on it. Bounced around amongst a couple of players. Stayed on that side of the field in the box for what felt like a couple minutes. Those split-second plays like that can feel like an eternity when it's bouncing around in the box, especially when the Knights are looking for the dagger. They may have already found it, but a third would certainly put this Statesman team to bed. Throw in for the Statesman. Deep in their offensive zone. Just a minute from the 20-minute mark of the second half. Time running out, but not in desperation mode just yet, but very, very close to it. Minutemen need, or excuse me, that'll be the last time I make that mistake today. The Statesmen need to strike any minute from now. Oh, my. Oh, the Knights may be shutting the door. Great effort on both sides. Knights got it deep into the offensive zone, rolling around in the box. Goalie quick to come off the line and make the save. Clean catch of the cannonball. There's been very few rebound opportunities, if any, for either one of these two teams. Both goalies have done a good job of not just coming off the line quickly, but coming off the line and gobbling it up, not allowing a second look at it. Through ball again. Coming off the line with maybe a half a second to spare. Knights get to the rolling ball. Had the right idea. Little triangle pass. The last leg of that triangle a little bit too far out in front of its target. A little bit more time to spare this time for the goalie. Still, same results. Save being made. Hope being kept alive for this Richard Bland team. The Statesmen down to their last couple opportunities. Is this one of them? Freebie does not go Richard Bland's way. Now it's pinballing amongst the two teams. And a solid tackle at the midfield. Gives it to the Knights. Long pass, finds its target. Shot, deflected, and on the rebound. Man, oh man. Just a minute ago, we talked about how the Statesman goalie had done such a great job of limiting those rebound opportunities. The Knights get one, slam dunk it home. 3-0 the score on the big board, and if the second wasn't the dagger, the third certainly is. 17 minutes left in this contest. The Knights just 17 minutes away from moving to 5-0 on the season. The Knights now sitting right there at their goals per game average coming into this one. 3.5 was their goals per game average. 14 goals total put into the back of the net for this Knights team coming into this one. Put a couple more on the big board. 3 goals scored in this one on 10 shots on goal to go along with 5 corners. It has been an offensive display here today in game number 1 from the Castle, but the offense, all of it coming from one side. Because the offensive numbers for Richard Bland, not the same here today. The goose egg, of course, in terms of goals scored, but only 1 corner for them and only 2 shots on goal. Then again, we knew the numbers were going to be tough coming into this one. Only 3 goals scored this season through 2 games played. 1.5 goals per game average. Still early in the season for this Richard Bland team, but the offense shown signs of struggling. A tough break there. That is kind of one of those plays that kind of just becomes a microcosm of what kind of day it's been at the office for this Richard Bland team. You get a good quality strike in their offensive zone, and it plays off the man wearing zebra stripes. And he doesn't give you the whistle either. Though that time the whistle will give it to the Statesman. I always think that's a tough call for the ref. I don't know what the official word is on that when it comes to soccer, but when I was a young boy, so to speak, I did some umpiring, and in baseball, the umpire in the field of play is technically part of the field of play. So if a ball bounces off of you, that's on the umpire's discretion, so to speak. I would assume it's relatively close to the same thing in soccer, but who knows? Just speculation. No speculation on who the winner is going to be in this one, though. We had that question answered probably long ago, but for certain, we've got it answered now. The Knights just 14 minutes away from punching their 5th victory of the season. What a start to the year for Coach King and the squad. A 5-0 start, off to a tremendous start as their goals still very much in front of them, still very much alive. And of course, those goals win the region, win the conference, punch a ticket to return back to the national tournament. And this time, get the job done. Once again, the ball pinballing amongst the two teams. Back and forth with possession, and whistle blows it dead. I'll take one last opportunity here to thank all of you at home for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Really hope you can join us for game number 2. CCBC Essex men's team taking on Mercer. Scheduled start time for that one, 2 o'clock, but I'm assuming we're probably going to be pushing that closer to 2:15, as the boys need some time to warm up, I'm sure. If you can't join us for game number 2, really hope you can join us at some point this season live here at the Castle. And if you're interested in doing that, you go on the CCBC Essex Athletics website, click on that schedules tab, and you can get the schedule update for all of the athletic teams, all of the sports teams here at CCBC Essex. Men's and women's soccer front page news right now, but give it a couple months, and everybody will be start the whispers and the talks about Coach Cini and the women's basketball team. Of course, trying to make it another return trip to the Final Four. Math was never my strong suit, but if Coach Cini and the squad can get back to the Final Four this year, I think that'll be 4 straight years in the Final Four for Coach Cini and the women's basketball team. Of course, 2 years ago, bringing home the national tournament, bringing home the national title, excuse me. That is then. This is now. Right now in the fall, we've got two teams who are thinking about national tournaments, thinking about national titles. That was the goal for both the women's team and the men's team. That's the goal for every team when the season starts. But when you have the history like this Knights team does, like this Knights program does, it's not just a goal. It's not just a talking point. It's potential real life. Got to win the battles and put in the work every day. And the Knights on their way to doing so, at least doing so far in this season, as now under 10 minutes away from their 5th straight victory to start the season. With this 5th straight victory, the Knights will move to 3-0 at home. And if the Knights can continue the shutout, it'll not only be 5 straight victories, it'll be 3 straight shutouts. So this defense, really spectacular for the Knights in the early part of the season. The defensive numbers in the game of soccer, you always have to kind of do a little bit of a deep dive to find them. But when you have a team like the Knights where the offensive numbers really stand out, usually when you do that deep dive, it's the defensive numbers that are lending to all these extra opportunities and extra looks on offense. That is exactly what the case has been for this Knights team this season. Minutemen worked it up the sideline and into their offensive zone, but almost immediately ran into a swarm of white jerseys. Now with 8 minutes left in the contest, the Knights back in their offensive zone. Step up and steal. The turnover in the D zone. Certainly doesn't hurt the Knights that time around. Substitution checking into the game for the Knights. Is that the final time we see those players check out of the game? You'd think so. 7 minutes left in the second half now. The Knights up their goal scoring here in the second half. 2 goals touching the back of the net for them in the second 45. We started this half with the Knights out in front by the smallest of margins. 2 goals later, 2 quality goals later. Knights holding on for their 5th straight victory. Goal scorers here today for the Knights: Tatiana Cooper, Avery Lane, and Melette Abram. Statesman with the throw in. Deep in their offensive zone. Only issue with that is plenty of time for the defense to set up, and when that has been the case, they have been in the right place at the right time and ready to shut the door. As we see once again, no space to be had offensively. Smothering defense continues for Coach King's squad. Oh, nice job regaining the balance. Possession one, long shot. Split the uprights for three. I think the Ravens were missing that the other night, weren't they? Statesman looking to clear. Clearing with the carry. Good quality carry through the midfield. Took it as far as she could. Now it's the Knights' turn. How far can they take it? Under 4 minutes to play in the contest. Oh, nice tackle at the midfield. Possession one. Step up and sent away. Now on the other side, it's stepped up. They step up and send it away. And there you knew, or maybe you didn't know, but you had a feeling it was maybe too good to be true with all that space. And the Knights really having done a tremendous job all game long keeping that ball in front of them. And they did a good job of it that time as well. Moving as a line, using that offsides whistle as an extra defender. Drawing the flag. That is all she wrote for that offensive attack for the Statesmen. Under 3 minutes left to play now. This game took a dramatic turn after that second goal from the Knights, and it took an even more dramatic turn after the third. The air really being let out of the balloon, so to speak, for this Richard Bland Statesman team. And they came here to the castle ready for a fight, and they put up a tremendous fight until they got knocked out. And that has been the case more than a few times this early season so far for the Knights. They have knocked out more than a few teams. 5 to be exact. 3 by way of the shutout. If they can hold on here for this 3-0 victory. 3 straight shutouts potentially for this Knights team. What a stat. What a little piece of trivia for them to hold their hats on as we hit the final 90 seconds of this game. Big strike finds its way all the way onto the other side of the field. The Knights will try and keep it here. I'll try and keep you here one last time by letting you know this is not the final game of the day here at the Castle. CCBC Essex men's soccer team, will be going one-on-one with Mercer. That should be a tremendous game in game number 2. Stick around with us live on YouTube for that one. But But if this is all she wrote for you today with us, well, I really am thankful that you joined us for game number 1. I really hope you can join us again some point this season live here at the Castle. And hope you enjoy your Sunday tomorrow with the NFL games. I know it didn't work out for the Ravens, but I'm sure it'll still be a good Sunday, as it's an excellent Saturday here at the Castle. One more for good measure. 4 unanswered goals here in this one for the Knights. The 4th and final one today scored by Alexandria Henning, freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, by way of Lochraven High School. And the clock has hit triple zeros. The Knights make it official. 5-0 to start the season with 3 straight shutouts in their last 3. The final score in this one, 4-0. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you can join us for game number 2. But if not, Aaron Thomas saying good afternoon, good evening, and good night.